Hi class, today we are in Saxon Book 4, Lesson 33, which is writing numbers through hundred thousands. So I have my handy dandy little flip book here. For today, we are going to ignore the millions, and these are all of our place values. So we've got our ones place, our tens, our hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s here. And so let me give you an example. We start actually just with the thousands. So we can do 4,000, 500, 13. So here we go, and my little flip book here shows which number, which digit is in each place value. So we have 4,000s, we have 500s, we have 110, and we have 3 ones. Well, let's talk about this if we had the same digit in every single place value. What if I had 4,000, 400, 4 tens, and 4 ones? Let's think about the value of each of these fours. They're all the same digit, but our value is going to change. So we'll start with the 4 ones. What are we talking about with 4 ones? We're just talking about 4 individual items. Might be 4 M&Ms, 4 pretzel sticks, 4 base 10 blocks, just the little tiny cubey ones. We only have 4, okay? But this 4 in the tens place doesn't mean that anymore. This means we have 4 tens. So 4 tens is going to be the equivalent of how many ones? Well, 1 10 is 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40. 4 tens equals 40. That's 10 times more than 4 ones. Let's jump over to the hundreds. Here's another 4. But what value are we talking about here? Because it's not just 4, it's 4 hundreds, which means we have 400 of whatever we're talking about, which is equal to how many tens? 4 hundreds would be a lot of tens because 100 is 10 tens. So 400s would be 40 tens or 400 ones. So again, this is 10 times bigger than this, and it's 100 times bigger than this. Okay, moving over to the thousands, that same pattern holds true. Now we have 4 thousands, which is made up of 40 hundreds, 400 tens, and 4,000 ones. So as we move up our place values, each one is 10 times bigger than the place value to its right. Okay? All right, so let's look at an example. We read this. At the comma, we say the word thousand. So we read this as 4,444. Now if I change it so that they're not all the same digit, we've got 4,753. Well, what if I add another place value? What if we put something in the 10,000s? So now we're going to read this section by section. I'm going to cover up what's after the comma here, and we just read this number. And we'll say 64,000. And then we ignore that and we read this number, 753. Gonna make it even bigger as I add 100,000, or 300,000 in this case. Once again, we just read it in sections. We'll cover up these three, and we read this number, 364,000, that's what we say at the comma, and then 753. So the whole thing would be 364,753. So the next type of problem that you might see is use words to write some numbers. So actually, let's use words to write this number. So this is what it looks like with digits. We're going to write it exactly how we say it. So we would say 64,753. So now I'm going to write 64,000 I wrote a digit. We want words though. 753. That is a lot of writing for one silly little number, but this is what we're looking for. We're looking for you to be able to have this skill to take a number with digits and turn it into words. This will also help you say the numbers more accurately when you're reading your math book, okay? The next example says, in the 2000 census, Fort Worth had a population of 534,694. That is really big. Let me show it to you. Actually, I'm just going to write it because the split book takes a little bit of time. So in the census, it was 534,694. And then the question says, use words to write this number. So keep in mind, first we focus on those three digits. How would we say that? 534. So that's what we're going to write. 534. Then what do we say when we get to the comma? We say 1,000. 534,000. And then we write this number, ignoring the first three digits, 694. Once again, a lot of writing. And fourth graders, if you need help, if you remember, I think it was back on page 40. Yes, back on page 40 of your textbook, they had that nice little chart that helps you spell some of the common numbers. It spells 0 through 20, and then it spells 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So that can help you out with some of the spelling if you struggle with that. If you were my fourth grader, I had you put a sticky note on that page so that you could go back to it as needed. If you are not in class with me, feel free to sticky note that page, and it's a good resource for you. All right, so I would say the awesome thing about this type of problem is they're not asking you to do any math work. You don't have to add anything or multiply or divide. You just have to write numbers. So you can go, whew, grateful for that. All right, the next example says to write 75,534 in expanded form. Now, let's remember, in expanded form, we start with the biggest place value and we break it apart from all the rest of the digits. We say this is not just a 7. This is 70,000. We're going to write our 7, and then we're going to give each of these places a 0. So we've got 70,000 plus 5, but that's not just a 5, it's in the thousands place. So it's 5,000 plus another 5, but it's 500. And I ran out of room on my board. If you run out of room on your page, just go to the next line and keep going, okay? We're on to the 3, but that's not a 3, that's 30. And then finally, the ones place, just 4. So 70,000 plus 5,000 plus 500 plus 30 plus 4 is our expanded form for this number. They may also ask you questions about what number is in each place value. So in this one, it's 345,676. And they want to know which digit is in the hundred thousands place. So you're looking at this and you're going, right, it was ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Then it gets tricky. Remember, this is the 10,000s and this is the 100,000s. So which digit is in the 100,000s place? That would be the 3, my friends. The next type of problem you might see, and this is one of my favorites because they try to trick you, and I know that you are smarter than the trick, although I didn't give myself quite enough room to write this problem. So we have 510,000, and then we have this lovely circle. Who remembers what that circle means? What are they looking for in that circle? We're looking for the greater than, less than, or equal to symbol. Anytime you see a circle like this between two numbers, that's what they want to find. That's what they want you to find. So, oh my, those numbers look awfully similar. Are they equal? No, they're not. I hope you recognize the difference. We want to know which one is bigger, so we're going to start on the biggest place value. We're going to look here at the 100,000s place. They're both 5s. That doesn't help me much because they're the same. So then I'm going to look at the 10,000 place. Ooh, this is good information. This one has a 1. This one has a 0. So which one's more? This is our bigger number. So we're going to say 510,000 is greater than 501,000. Is greater than is what this symbol means, because the number that's written first on the left is greater than, it's bigger than the number that's written second on the right. Okay? And the final type of problem that you will see after this lesson is they're going to give you a whole bunch of really big numbers, and they will want you to order them either from least to greatest or from greatest to least. So for this problem, we have 23,000, we have 230,000, we have 78,000, 870,000, and 500,000. Okay, so I want you to notice what I did there. On the book, these are all listed horizontally. I wrote them vertically, and do you see how I lined up all of the ones, all of the tens, all of the hundreds, and so on? So that's going to help me put them in order from, in this case, least to greatest. So the first thing I probably want to do is take my list and just number them. So looking here, 10,000, this one doesn't have 100,000, and neither does that. So those are both going to be my smaller numbers because 10,000s is less than 100,000s. So I'll look here at this first 10,000 place value. This one's a 2, and this one's a 7. So what's smaller? 23,000. So this is going to be number 1. I'll just put a little 1 there to keep track of that. And then 78,000 is going to be a 2 because I don't have any other 5-digit numbers. So now we can look at our 6-digit numbers. I'm going to compare the 2, the 8, and the 5. Which one's smaller? 2. So this will be number 3. And then the 8 and the 5. 5 is smaller. This will be number 4. And this will be number 5. So now that I've got them in order, I can rewrite them the way my homework assignment told me to, from least to greatest. So the first one is 23,000. The second one is 78,000. The third one is 230,000. The fourth one is 500,000. And the last one is 870,000. There we go. Least to greatest. Okay. I think I said that was the last one, but I was wrong. I just turned the page and we have one more example. There's a lot of different problems that we can do with this skill. So this says use digits to write 895,270. We write it exactly like we read it. 895,000 means comma. So 895,270. There we go. The cool thing is when they're writing this with words, they actually put a comma after the word thousand. So maybe that can go, oh, I need a comma in that. All right. So the lesson practice, about half of it is you guys reading these numbers out loud. So I want you to make sure that you sit down with a parent or another homeschool teacher and A through F on page 208, look at those numbers and practice reading them out loud so that you get really, really good at reading these big numbers. All right? For G, you are supposed to use words to write the following numbers. So you're going to write, and I'm not going to say it because that might give you a clue. You're going to write this number using words. Go ahead and pause me. Try that, and then hit play when you're ready to see the answer. It did not fit all the way across my page, but here's the answer to that one, 2,750. The next one, again, they want you to write it using words, so I'm not going to say it out loud. This number. Practice writing that using words. You can pause and then hit play when you're ready to see the answer. It's actually easier than it looks because it has so many zeros. So we have 500,000, oh, not thousands, excuse me, 500,000. All right, the next ones are using digits. So I'm going to say the number. I want you to write down the answer, and then I'll give you a second before I write down the answer. So if you need more than a second, hit pause in between each of these problems. So the first one is 20,000. Go ahead and write 20,000 using digits. There we have it. 12,500 350. 12,350. Write that. Make sure you didn't forget your comma there. That helps separate it, makes it easier to read. The next one, 120,500. 120,500. There we have it. All right, the next one wants you to practice writing in expanded form. You are going to write the number 5,280 in expanded form. So we'll have 5,000 plus 200 plus 80. And we don't need to add any ones because we don't have any ones. So this is our final answer. Write 2,040 in expanded form. Try this one. 2,040 in expanded form. There's my 2,000. Now, I don't have any hundreds, so I'm not going to add any here. I'll move on to the tens. I have 4 tens, which is 40, and I don't have any ones. So this is our final answer here. All right, our last practice problem is a comparison. We have 760,000 compared to 670,000. Go ahead and decide, is this greater than, less than, or equal to? If you said greater than, you are correct. That's the end of our lesson for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Now is the time to start your your written practice. And don't forget to go back and do those lesson practice problems A through F so that you can practice reading the written numbers. Your written practice begins on page 209. Hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you soon.